Hello everyone. Today I want to share with you in this video a way that I think can help people develop the instinctive part of instinctive no spin throwing. And this can work regardless if you are the brush type thrower, the spring type thrower, the slide type thrower, or stomp. But I don't think this will work if you're the type where if you go further back, you throw by tossing and lobbing the knife so that it flies like this towards the target. So if you are that type of thrower, what I'm going to share with you is not going to work for that because it requires that the energy of throwing and releasing an object is in front of you, kind of like when you're tossing or throwing something to a person over there, right? Or you're going to pitch a ball over there. The release point is boom, boom, right? So it needs to be the release point needs to be in front. Now, whether that can apply to a release point anywhere else, I haven't tried it yet, and I haven't had a chance to look into it. This is also going to be for at least intermediate level throwers, because you need to have at least overcome the subconscious the body's subconscious desire to try to compensate the rotation of the knife by doing something to make it not rotate. But in reality, it messes it up. You need to overcome that body's subconscious desire to do that. If you're an advanced thrower, you'll probably understand this and pick this up a lot easier, and it's not really something new, just a little different, maybe. But yeah, let's get into it. As usual, knife throwing is a dangerous activity, so if you're going to do this, you're doing so at your own risk. What I'm going to talk about is very, very abstract and requires a lot of mental focus. I'm going to try to explain it in the form of analogies, metaphors on what to do to kind of simulate the feel of how to get or develop the instinctive part of instinctive no spin. So remember that energy we talked about at the release point? Boom, right? And if you're a baseball pitcher, you probably understand this as well. Boom, and then you might follow through. But there's a point where you throw, and the energy is all imparted at that point, and then you relax and follow through to save your arm. Whichever the case, you're going to take that idea, the energy, and imagine striking the board with it up close. I like using the chopping motion because my arm generally moves in that kind of motion to throw. Boom. Just get used to this. Boom. As if you're hitting the board. You're not even thinking about throwing, you're just hitting the board. If this was an enemy, you're striking your enemy right now with your palm or with your, the edge of your hand. Boom. Okay? Now, here's where it gets a little tricky to explain. Step back to 2 meters. Well, you can even do 1 meter. The point is you have distance and do the same thing. Boom. But here's where things get tricky. You need to imagine that even though your hand stops here, in reality, it's as if you did boom, right? Boom. But you're not moving up. Boom. 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 Okay? And if you move back to 2 meters, even though you're here, boom. Boom. You need to imagine that somehow, boom. The exact same time that you're doing boom right here. You need to somehow imagine that you are striking the target board, boom, without any lag or delay between here, this boom, and the target board being hit. If I could have something to demonstrate the energy, it would be as if the target board is shaking right when I say boom, boom, because you are mentally imagining that you are striking the target board, right? You are mentally imagining that you are striking the target board right now, even though you're this far. Boom. No delay. No lag. You take your knife into your hand, and now you start trying to imagine this as well. You're trying to overcome the mind's thoughts on holding the knife, how you're gripping it, how much you're going to brush or how much you're going to spring, and how you're going to throw it. You're overcoming that and overriding that with just the thought of strike the target with the hand. Strike the target with the hand, not the knife. with the hand. Okay? Boom. Boom. Now, here's where the magic comes in when trying to explain. Remember, you need to overcome thinking about the knife. At 3 meters, listen closely. Boom. Boom. Could you hear it? Boom. Boom. Okay, maybe it's a little too close. But what you should be hearing now is that there is a gap between the boom and the thunk of the knife. Let me see if I can position this a little bit better. I hope I can. 2, 3, 4. At 4 meters, it becomes more apparent. Boom. 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 Yeah? Boom. Boom. There's now a lag between when the knife actually strikes the target compared to, in my head, I already struck the target ahead of time with my fists or my hand. Boom. Boom. Okay? And I don't know if I'm out of range for 5 meters, but let's try. Sorry, when I say out of range, I mean camera. Right. 2, 3, 4, 5. Boom. Boom. Oops. 2, 3, 4, 5. One more time. Boom. Now you can hear it even more. The time that I'm thinking that I'm striking the target versus when the knife strikes the target. Boom. Boom. And it gets a little harder the further back you go because your mind starts becoming aware of the distance. So you really got to overcome it and just think, strike the target. And just imagine you're just hitting the target board. Right? And it gets, again, it gets hard. It's even harder for me right now because I'm trying to explain this. Boom. Boom. Okay. It's such a mental exercise. So anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope it gave you some insight or another way to try to approach instinctive no spin throwing. It's interesting because you're shifting your mind focus away from throwing the knife to just doing something else kind of unrelated. But your body kind of follows through accordingly and somehow subconsciously, instinctively adjusts and you don't think about it. You just do it. Y'all have a good night. I'll see you next time.